What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Thursday. I hope that everyone is enjoying their day. But anyways, let's get to the hot topics. Now let's talk about Barack Obama and Joe Biden. So Barack Obama thinks President Joe Biden's chances at a second term are fading fast, and he should drop out of the race. But interestingly, he's not saying it to Biden's face. So the Washington Post reports Obama's been telling allies his former VP needs to step aside, and he's been fielding calls from Democrat power players worried about Biden's chances to defeat Donald Trump. So while many Democratic fundraisers and a growing number of elected officials have been calling for Biden to step aside, especially with Wednesday's COVID diagnosis, it's a different thing for Obama to be saying it given their former bromance, which has grown tense. Okay, so I personally think that President Joe Biden should continue on with the race because I believe that President Joe Biden has been doing a phenomenal job as a president, especially because of the fact that he, by the way, is the one that put out the student loan forgiveness, which, by the way, has been doing sensational towards so many students here in America because of the fact that now that students aren't going to be paying thousands and thousands on student loan debt, now these students are more focused on what they have other things in their lives. Like, for example, mortgage, for example, rent, for example, food on the table, for example, many other priorities that they need to focus on instead of focusing on the student loan debt, which, by the way, is thousands of dollars. Let's remember that. Also, President Joe Biden has been handling the economy just fine, especially when it comes to the inflation, because I completely understand that inflation has been so horrible these days that even gas prices have been definitely super high. However, Joe Biden has been able to control all of that as well. Another thing that Joe Biden has been doing that has been amazing is that he, by the way, was the one that got to control the economy pretty well when the economy was down the freaking toilet back in 2020 after the freaking pandemic, because he was the one that got to distribute the vaccines. He was the one that got to, by the way, give out more jobs for people that have been needing jobs, by the way. And also, he's been making sure, by the way, that nobody gets to be empty-handed when it comes to money, empty-handed when it comes to their needs, especially because of the stimulus checks that he was giving out during the pandemic. So that's another thing. And the list goes on of the amazing things that Joe Biden has done as the president of the United States these past 4 years, more than the things that Trump did throughout the 4 years that he was our president, unfortunately. So anyways, with that being said, I think that Joe Biden should definitely continue regardless of what the Democrats are saying. And I think here too that Joe Biden is not going to give up and he's going to continue. And I believe that he is super confident that he is going to win the election in November because of the fact that the polls have shown it all. I've seen that Joe Biden has been leading Trump in so many polls lately, especially in the swing states. It has been amazing. So I think that Joe Biden is definitely going to win. All right, Biden-Harris 2024. Now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Ryan Garcia. So Ryan Garcia was just hit with a misdemeanor vandalism charge stemming from his alleged meltdown at a swanky hotel in Los Angeles, and now prosecutors say he could be facing up to 1 year behind bars over it all. So the star boxer was first accused of the crime back on June 8 after authorities claimed he snapped and wrecked a room and a hallway at the Waldorf Astoria Beverly Hills. So in a video obtained by TMZ, you can see multiple officers led the 25-year-old pugilist away from the hotel's premises in handcuffs. So LA County District Attorney George Gascon announced Thursday Garcia was formally hit with 1 count of vandalism for $100 or more in damage or destruction of property, which carries a maximum sentence of 12 months behind bars if convicted. Okay, so he is now expected to appear before a judge on August 7. So this is what I have to say. I think that it is really stupid that this guy committed this crime because, come on now, we as people, we need to be respectful, especially of properties, especially of hotels. Okay, we cannot be going up reacting and acting like idiots and acting like lunatics, especially because here are the consequences. You end up behind bars, and of course, you're seen as the bad guy because guess what? You are the bad guy. Also, This guy really thought that just because he's a freaking boxer, he thought that he was above the law, when in reality, nobody is above the law after all. Also, this guy should have thought before committing this meltdown, okay? Because if he would have thought before committing this meltdown, trust me, he would not be doing a bunch of these things, and also he would not be in trouble, especially. But I just feel like, it's people like these that really need to attend anger management classes in order to control their freaking anger, so that way they won't commit stupid stuff like this. Because anger management classes will actually get you more patient enough into not committing anger stuff and not committing stupid stuff like what this dude just did in this freaking hotel. But you know what? There's just some people out there that really think that being angry and committing a meltdown is actually a perfect idea, because they actually get the attention that they want, and they actually think that they're winning in the freaking argument, and they're actually getting what they want in general, when in reality, none of those things are really what matters, okay? What matters here is that you are the one that's misbehaving, you're the one that's being the douchebag, and you're the one that's hurting other people, and you're the one that's hurting properties, especially. By the way, properties that were done by hardworking people that actually make their own money doing those things, by the way, and that have poured their sweat and blood into, by the way. Okay, so that is something that the guy should have thought before committing a meltdown like this towards this hotel over in Beverly Hills. Okay, so come on now. Behave, behave. Now on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about Kim Kardashian. So Kim Kardashian sharing her real-life American Horror story, a freak accident that left her with a broken fingertip, exposing her crushed bone, and that's no exaggeration. Okay, so the gory pics of Kim's injury were shown on the latest episode of The Kardashians, and she painfully describes closing her bathroom sliding door while getting distracted by her son Saint. Alright, so Kim explained the door had no latch, so she usually pulls on the inner mechanism while holding out her left hand to stop the door from slamming shut, but while tending to Saint, she didn't and slammed the door extra hard on her fingers. Okay, so Kim says she hit the floor immediately, grabbed the table, and got to her knees because all she saw was blood, and went into shock. Alright, so anyways, with her fingertips sliced off, Kim immediately rushed to the plastic surgeon, and the doc warned her there was a possibility her nail might never grow back. Of course, Kim got to joke around and say that she would invent a nail implant if needed. Okay, so this is really crazy what I'm hearing here, but it really seems like it to me that Kim Kardashian is more worried about losing her nail than losing her finger. And I think that's so freaking ridiculous, because I believe that losing a finger is more important than losing a nail, because with the finger, you still need it to grab things. With the nail, you don't need it for anything. You just need it for beauty stuff. And it really seems like it to me that Kim Kardashian cares more about the beauty stuff. Literally, I think that Kim Kardashian overall is just exaggerating, and she definitely is just trying to call attention here with her losing her nail after that whole entire situation happened. Because literally, I think that Kim Kardashian should just be like, you know what, it's whatever. After all, I just lost a nail probably, and that's basically it. I mean, yes, I can imagine that it's really painful that your nail got very in pain after the door got to shut on your finger. However, yet again, it's nothing to worry about, because at the end of the day, like I said, you did not lose a freaking finger. But anyways, I think that Kim Kardashian, in my opinion, man, has been making so many headlines about so many ridiculous things. And it's not just about this, it's also about, her with her love life and her getting so emotional and this and that. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I think that, yes, it's really good ratings for the Kardashians after all, especially with this story of her getting the door slammed into her finger. But yet again, I mean, I believe that if you really want to have better ratings than this, I believe that you should actually come up with something even better to actually attract the audience. And I'm just saying this because that's just what I personally think. And honestly, I'm just being honest. So, hey, Kim Kardashian, I believe that your next story, if you really want to give some really good headlines and really good audiences, is maybe you getting a job at McDonald's or maybe you getting a job at In-N-Out. Maybe that right there will give you a really good headline, trust me. Okay, and I'm just suggesting here. Okay, now on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about Lawrence Taylor. So Lawrence Taylor was arrested again in Florida this week, TMZ Sports has learned, after he was accused yet again of failing to follow conditions imposed on him as a registered sex offender. So Broward County Jail officials tell us Taylor turned himself in on an outstanding felony warrant on Wednesday at around 5 p.m. and was thrown behind bars on one charge of failure to report name or residence change. Okay, so the ex-New York Giants superstar remained in jail for several hours before he was ultimately released at around 3 a.m. on Thursday. And it's the second time in the last few years he's been hit with these kinds of allegations. Remember, in December of 2021, he was locked up for a similar offense. All right, so Taylor's attorney, Mark Aglarsh, said in a statement to us, it's all a big misunderstanding. Okay, so he got to say my client Lawrence Taylor will be pleading not guilty to the recent charges. Aglarsh said, as with the previous incident involving the same allegations, Mr. Taylor did not knowingly commit any criminal offense. This situation is a significant misunderstanding. So we are confident that once the prosecutors review the exculpatory evidence demonstrating Mr. Taylor's innocence, he will once again achieve a favorable outcome. All right, so Taylor, a Pro Football Hall of Famer who many consider to be the greatest defensive player of all time, was declared a sex offender back in 2011 following accusations he had been intimate with a 16-year-old girl. His status requires him to follow several conditions, including letting law enforcement know of residence or name change. Okay, so anyways, in his 2021 case, Taylor ultimately cut a deal with prosecutors to close out things, pleading no contest to a lesser charge of residency restriction for persons convicted of certain sex offenses. Okay, so it's not yet clear when Taylor will appear in court for his most recent case. Okay, well, hey, it's people like these that really need to follow the law, and it's people like these that are really freaking scary because, man, a predator is very scary. A predator is very nasty, and this is the proof of it all. Okay, and it could be a football player, it could be a movie star, it could be whoever it is. They are still not above the law, and they deserve to suffer the freaking consequences after they went off and destroyed other people's lives. That's all I have to say. So anyways, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's beautiful episode of the Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.